Hey guys, welcome back to Phantom Sage Powers, where we discuss comics, heroes, villains, and the Dawn. We are jumping back into X-Force with issue number 11 right now. The last time we performed a mass autopsy, we discovered that the bodies were not only lab augmented, but also rigged with explosives. A preliminary scan reveals that we're clear of that risk, but once again, we're dealing with the product of a flesh factory. They are and are not human. The assassins who attacked Krakoa wore gear associated more with Reavers, whereas this armor is distinctly nationalistic and even militaristic. Uncommon institutions with a common arsenal, implying a larger cooperative effort. This is biological warfare. Now that's curious. What do we have here? Oh, hell no! The deeper we dig, the more secrets we find. We should have been looking for more than explosives. Ah! 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 Dr. Reyes. Is she gone? Soon, I think. But we can always bring her back. I fear that's precisely what they have figured out how to do. Bring themselves back. They've bioengineered their own filthy version of a Russian nesting doll. We must capture and dissect the little monster before he causes any more trouble or hides himself away. Found you. You've been hiding from me. Not hiding, just working. I hope you're not here to. We need you in the field. A different kind of field, I mean. Nina, please. After what happened to me, when I extracted the mutant refugees from Russia, and then after what happened to you, when we took down that mobile lab, I realized I'm done. You're not done. Don't say you're done. I know you better than that. Stop. It's Russia, Pete. We're just beginning to understand the threat they pose. I wasn't ready before. I'm less ready now. We need you. Well, this is what I need. I began as a farmer. I'll continue as a farmer now. It's in my blood. I hope you're not bothering him. You hope I'm not. Who the hell are you? I'm the one bringing Peter what he needs. Chapter 1. Drink is a writer's affliction. The need for it. The belief that it can lubricate the imagination or help an overactive mind finally find sleep. I suppose alcoholism is the only occupational hazard of my trade, besides bleary eyes, a bad back, the occasional paper cut. Madness does tend to find us. When I started making money off my writing, I didn't really know what to do with it. I don't care for luxurious clothes or expensive cars or international travel. I only wish to be home with my work. I've bought a few paintings, some first edition novels, but wine is my investment of choice. My cellar is rather elaborate and a point of guilty pride. Among its many treasures are a 1945 Chateau Maton Rothschild, with its hints of coffee and chocolate and black currants. The powerfully complex and nuanced 1929 Chateau d'Yquem, and a 1982 Pichon Longueville Comtesse de Lalande, a Bordeaux that offers an unmatched velvety sweetness. And it was here, in the cellar, that he found me. Mutton was on the menu for dinner, and I went hunting for a leathery Pinot Noir to pair with it. The scrape of his boot startled me. He filled the doorway, so that only a little light filtered through. His hair was more like the coarse, dark fur of the bear that he resembled. He wore a costume of armor. When he spoke, his voice was subterranean in its bass. To be continued. Sage, this is Beast. Are you back yet? I'm still hunting for the Russian nesting doll. I need you and Black Tom to immediately coordinate. Create a sensory interface with Krakoa that allows us to locate these things. Sage, do you copy?
What is it, Peter?
The Madroxes. They've been called home.
I hope you're not still worrying over what she said to you earlier.
I'm thinking maybe she was right, Kayla. I'm thinking that trouble is coming.
Yeah!
I'm thinking I might need to do something after all.
Please, don't leave. Growing medicine has been such good medicine for you.
The only reason I'm going is to make sure I can come back. When I farm, I find calm in the order of things. I plant in straight lines. I wait, and I rest, and I seed, and I harvest on a clockwork schedule. But when I'm with the X-Men, there is no order, only chaos. I'm beginning to suspect there's something afoot.
No, Beast.
You misunderstand me. There's no discernible calculation to their efforts, besides causing generalized harm and chaos and disorder. I'm beginning to suspect this is a diversion. I think we need to change tactics and immediately locate. Professor, we're under attack. Tell me what you know. Just get your bold ass down here. The who and the how of it all will have to wait for happy hour at the Green Lagoon. For now, we're getting you clear of it all. Into what you might call a panic room. Into the mud hollows and the root beds. Into the guts of the veg. Chapter 2. He did say he admired my writing very much. Russia has had many greats, he said. Dostoevsky, Tolstoy, Turgenev, Chekhov. But you, he said, you are the most powerful. But what had I done with that power? Won some prizes? Made a few people weep in their armchairs? Animate some dinner-time conversations? You are capable of so much more. But I don't want for much, I told him. I only want a quiet life. I only want to do my best to illuminate the human condition. You must recognize your superiority and use it to celebrate the superiority of your country. I am not, I said, stammering some as he approached. We are not superior. He swung out an arm, then I flinched. Though it was clear he did not mean to strike me, something came rolling off him, like a big block of energy. The air thrummed, and I heard a great rustling tear. By the time I had recovered my senses, I saw that every wine bottle was suddenly bare. No! I said. No! And I fell to my knees, hurrying to the shed labels, trying desperately to match them with their bottles. You see, he said, you do believe in superiority after all. He held out his giant hand to me. Now come, my peaches.
I don't know how many nesting dolls are crushed into one of these bodies. But I'm guessing I don't have enough bullets. And I'm guessing I'll eventually need a microscope to sight them. So let's keep the math simple. You can't divide by 0. They knew to raid Forge's armory. They knew to shut down our surveillance. They knew how to swiftly upend our defenses. They knew. But how? Regardless, welcome to the fight, Colossus. Though I fear it's only just begun. Pete, thank you for coming.
There is nothing to thank me for.
All clear, Phoebe. Why are you so afraid to be seen with me? It's not that I'm afraid. It's just that we cuckoos share everything. And I want you to myself. When can I see you again? I'm a cuckoo, aren't I? Wait for my call. Yes! No! Not again! Let me be happy! Just for a little bit.
Welcome to Moscow, Mr. Quire. I'm sorry that your trip will be short-lived, but I do appreciate you bringing me the Cerebral Sword.
Okay, so really didn't see that coming, but in retrospect, maybe I should have. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this character, this is a mutant by the name of Mikhail Rasputin, who is also Colossus and Magic's older brother. His powers are sometimes a little difficult to explain or quantify, really. So Mikhail Rasputin was a cosmonaut, which is like an astronaut, but in Russia. And knowing that he was a mutant, the Russian government sent him on a mission with some other cosmonauts to this really dangerous cosmic phenomenon that normally would have been quite dangerous to get close to, but they were banking on Mikhail Rasputin to be able to protect the ship and his crewmates with his mutant powers. At this point in Mikhail's story, his powers were known as energy warping powers. Now keep that in mind and, put a pin in that. But long story short, the cosmonauts get trapped on the other side of this rift in this void space. The X-Men also enter this void space to save them. In order to hold open this rift, the combined efforts of Iceman, Sunspot, and Jean Grey were used in conjunction with the focal point being Mikhail, being able to regulate these energies, basically. The rift was open long enough for everyone to escape except Mikhail, who stayed behind. Eventually, he was able to figure out how to use his powers to get back to this dimension, back to Earth. But unfortunately, that whole ordeal left him a little cray. He had a serious god complex now and was kind of a megalomaniac. He always came up with these really elaborate plans that honestly were pretty successful until, like another hero would step in. And a lot of times he would end up doing something good in the end and stopping his whole plan, which was kind of weird. But anyway, at this point in time, he also has transdimensional teleportation abilities, meaning he can travel between dimensions or just teleport within whatever dimension he's in. We also discovered during this time of his madness that he can also manipulate matter on a subatomic level. I remember one panel specifically where he lashed out at a person on the street or somebody walking by and turned them into a tree. So yeah, that was a thing. So basically, he is a matter manipulating, energy warping teleporter. I think that kind of sums up his abilities, and yet is still only classified as an alpha level mutant. So I feel like somebody needs to look into that. Anywho, he pops up as a villain pretty much 99% of the time he's in a comic, so whatever he's up to, it can't be anything good. And something interesting has struck me in this issue. These info page inserts with the chapters is a person of Russian nationality that is an author, that is a writer, and telling the story of how he encountered Mikhail Rasputin. Now, from what I've read, it seems like this author is also a mutant. So now I'm wondering, what powers does this mutant have? And how has he used them? And how did Mikhail know about them? Honestly, I have many more questions, like who is that chick Colossus is shacked up with? One small gripe that I had about this issue was in the very beginning, where Dr. Reyes, Sage, and Beast were performing this autopsy on those Russian soldiers that were collected from that sub-oceanic base that the Pale Lady was in, from Wolverine issue number 3. So these are the soldiers that they killed during that mission. But to me, they were a little too lax about this autopsy and bringing these corpses into Krakoa, especially knowing what happened before with the Reaver type augmented people that skydived onto the island in X-Force number 1. those bodies ended up blowing up and killing Healer. So why wouldn't you be a little bit more prepared for anything? Even though the scans showed there weren't any explosives, why wouldn't you have on a hazmat suit, have your shields already up, have it in a secure location where nothing could escape from? It just seemed odd to me, especially for this being an intelligence unit of the X-Men. It seemed like a really big oversight to me. So that was my only gripe, but it was a really grotesque and interestingly clever way to introduce this type of biological warfare of a Russian nesting doll, which was appropriately right on the nose, and how there were a multitude of bodies packed into one body. Or is it more to this than something just that simple? Because there is a chance that this author mutant may have something to do with this too. We'll see how these two storylines intersect, because I'm pretty sure they do, since they're both coming out of Russia. If you enjoyed this episode, please give me that thumbs up. And don't forget, I have memberships available for those who are interested in getting content days and days earlier than most people. And you get to support me and get customized emojis, customized badges, customized wallpapers. Heck, I'll even do a voiceover of a character specifically for you, or something of your choosing if you like. So check out my page in the join section and join the crew for real. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next issue.